Alright guys, and welcome to the 43rd episode of Below the Bar.
In this episode, expect to find out how to fuel properly for a marathon, where we think the Princess of Wales has been hiding,
And what happens when you consume 200 milligrams of caffeine midway through a long run.
Let's get into it.
Hello, and welcome back to what is going to be a long distance running special.
Special. They're all specials, aren't they?
Well,
They're
no,
all-
we haven't used the special brush for a while.
Are we not?
No.
Well, we're always tired with the special brush. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be anything basically 10k and above if you're running, if you've got races coming up, or if you're, just interested in the topic, then hopefully we can provide you with some value and some tips and tricks that we've learnt for our own experience.
Exactly, but first, the usual segments. Helmet of the Week. Yes, this week's Helmet of the Week is fucking wild, by the way.
Okay.
If you're not,
I'm not
if you're
privy
not
to
privy to this, I don't know if you've been following it, but it's
Okay.
become somewhat of a meme on the internet.
Sure.
This is fucking Kate Middleton,
Oh.
as in the fucking Princess of Wales.
Have you seen? Is that the thought that's come out, like her with the family?
The
or
whole
something?
fiasco, mate.
I don't know much about it. I'll be honest. So
Right.
bring me up to speed.
Right, okay, so the actual Helmet of the Week is whoever's in charge of her fucking PR, because it's an absolute dumpster fire, mate.
Yeah.
But like the whole story in itself is mental. Like, where is she?
Yeah, I don't know. Is she's either like dead or she's divorcing him or whatever?
Like, where is Kate Middleton?
Well, hopefully by the time this comes out, we know.
Well, I was gonna say, because if she's actually fucking re-emerged by the time this comes out, then you can tell us in the comments.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as of this point in time,
Live.
she's fucking AWOL.
That's mad, isn't it?
Just fucking just release a photo of her. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, honestly, it's rent free in my head now. Because if she's not dead, why wouldn't you just fucking like take a photo?
She must be
Creamed in.
Maybe she's like covered in bukkake or something.
Right, so I'll give you the full lowdown now, right? Okay, so our last public appearance was the 25th of December,
Really?
which I think is when they go to like the fucking chapel or whatever, on Christmas morning. She supposedly had abdominal surgery on the 17th of January, and up to this point has been recovering. That's the fucking backstory anyway. Supposedly.
What are the conspiracy? What are the top sort of?
Right, okay, so on Mother's Day, so like last Sunday,
Yeah.
Kensington Palace published that photoshopped image of her and the kids, which was fucking atrocious, by the way. That was giving me like year 10 fucking media studies energy, that was.
Yeah, that was terrible.
so botched, mate.
That's mad, isn't it?
It was like, I had like, my timeline was just full of people who were like professional like photo editors,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like going through how abysmal the edit was.
Like deconstructing it. Yeah, that's hilarious.
And then when the internet cottoned on to the fact that it was like a fake image, she then released this like apology, or this like, I don't know.
I haven't seen any.
It
of
wasn't
this.
even like an apology. She tweeted that like she just likes to mess around with like Photoshop every now and again.
That's
Right,
mental.
she's right. I was like, what?
Dog ate my homework.
Honestly, you're just digging yourself a hole at this point.
That's mental. And then what's the latest?
But it's just like, it's still, people don't know where the fuck she is. I think they released another photo of her, right? So to try and get away with it now, they were like, no, she is still alive. Here's a photo of her in a car with William. But like, so it was a moving Range Rover, right, and they're in the back, right? And the photo was kind of like through the back window.
Yeah.
So William is like closest to the
Yeah,
camera,
yeah,
and she's furthest
So
away.
it could be anyone.
Well, no, not that. It's the brickwork externally around the car. They're driving past the house. Doesn't match the brickwork through the car window.
That's so
like,
bad.
mate. It's so bad. Like, this is actually sus now.
She's not fucking SF. Just fucking release it. Do you know what I mean?
SF Middleton.
SF. Maybe she is. Maybe she's related to Ant. Who knows? Yeah, that's mad. I'm gonna read more up on that because I haven't really.
So like, yeah.
heard
So
much about that.
I'm kind of like ambivalent towards the Royals, but even now I'm invested.
Yeah.
Because so like, a lot of people are saying that like Camilla has done like a full salt burn on the royal family, and like
That's mad.
she saw the Queen off, and now
Yes.
she's seen Charles off,
Oh yeah.
and now apparently like there's some like Wills and Kate are on the rocks with their marriage, and they reckon that she's trying to bump Kate off as well.
That's mad. Imagine there's a massive conspiracy.
Real life Saltburn.
She just saw it, got the idea, and thought that's a great idea. Let's run with that. Yeah, that's mad. Yeah, I didn't really know much about that. I knew there was that fart that came out, and there's all sorts of fucking bollocks going on. But
where is she?
Yeah, that's.
Where the fuck is she?
I think she's dead. What do you think?
I don't know, but I just want to.
What's your hunch?
Ultimately, right? If say I'm not a fucking PR guru, right? But if you have a brain, you'd think, right. So it's the Princess of Wales, right? She's probably one of the most photographed women in the world, right? People want to know where she is. Assuming she's not like fucking in a coma, just take a photo of her. Do you know what I mean? Even if she's bedridden, recovering from this surgery.
There has to be a reason why they haven't done that, though. Like, if she was just recovering, it'd be fine. Yeah.
Well, another conspiracy, aside from the Saltburn one, is that they've actually, like, her and Will have actually broken up.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And that, like, because, like, this fucking marquess of someone keeps getting photographed now in the press.
Right.
This, like, some landed gentry slut. And they reckon that's Will's new piece. You know, like the Camilla to his Charles.
Nice.
And the like, Kate's like Diana.
He's getting round some younger model.
Yeah, who looks a lot like fucking...
She's been cast aside.
Who looks a lot like the Princess of Wales.
Weird, that. Yeah.
It's all very fishy, man.
That's mad. So I reckon, they're probably... I know nothing about this. I think they've broken up and then they can't figure out how to release that information to the public yet. So they're trying to figure out a little... But like, again... Little base story.
But like, the longer you leave it, the worse it gets.
No, I know, yeah.
It's like a PR disaster.
I don't think she'd be dead. I think they'd
no, she's not dead. But like...
They'd have to report that.
She's not just recovering from her abdominal surgery.
Some fucking serious abdominal surgery.
They made a rod for their own back as well, because they've released when her next public appearance is going to be. Like, so she's due to be back on like royal service, I think, for Easter weekend. So if she then doesn't turn up to that... They've got a disaster.
They've got an issue on their hands, haven't they?
It's either that, right, or what she's done is she's gone on a Civity Commando weekender and got lost in Delamere Forest. Which again is plausible.
Yeah, I mean, that could be it. Maybe they didn't teach her the loss procedure properly. You know, who knows? Maybe she hadn't cracked asylum and she'd be fine. I don't know. That's the first time we've used a name, I think. But whatever. Of a. You know,
a rant rival.
Yeah.
Are they going to get your business now?
Well, they're not. They're welcome to it because they always fuck it up, and I get the back end. Anyway, that's it's a very strange situation. Like I say, by the time this is out, we'll probably have an answer.
Yeah, well, I hope so, because I'm fucking well invested now. This is going to make a great series of The Crown one day.
We're going to make a great documentary at some point on Netflix, I think. But yeah, that's her PR team have dropped the ball a little bit there.
It there. I was going to say.
Sent her on a weekend and fucking never seen her again. I mean.
It's around mine, getting rattled.
Right. There's no one around you getting rattled, is there? So.
My meat. Right, long distance running. What is long distance running? In athletics, it's anything over basically like 3 kilometres, I think. But for us, I think we're going to, purpose of this podcast, we'll treat anything beyond like a 10k, I think.
Yeah. So, I think they look at long distance running a bit shorter because they're obviously fucking smashing.
Sending it, yeah.
Yeah, so...
We're taking the perspective of people who are going to be plodding quite a lot.
Yeah, I think, or like endurance stuff, like, if you think about endurance, that's not, 3k is like fucking 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it's a bit... The definition of in athletics is a bit distorted, really, because as you said, they're sending it. They're like sprinting 3 kilometres.
Yeah, you're looking at more like 10k to ultra marathon distance, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
Which is somewhere. Well, obviously 10k you can send. To be fair, I mean some people do, but anything above like a marathon then is like ultra endurance stuff, and
that's ultra endurance stuff.
That's like plodding, isn't it?
That's not even plodding. That's like existing at that point. That's just beyond.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends who you're talking about. The bloke who broke the 100-mile record, I think it's 100 miles, maybe 100k. It's 100k actually. Did it at 6-minute miles.
That's fucking stinking. I don't like breaking down world record endurance paces because it just makes me depressed.
It's mental, mate. It was like 6:30s or something for 100k. Obviously, you would have had to stop as well, so he's like, you're probably running faster than that to account.
Like if I ever went on, that they did like Kipchoge's like marathon world record treadmill. Like I couldn't go on that because it would
Isn't
just.
Kelvin Kiptum dead? Isn't he?
One of them's dead.
It's Kiptum. I think he was like on the way to smashing everyone, and he got hit by a car or something.
Nah, he was fucking Kate Middleton, mate. Had to bump
Maybe.
him. Had to bump
Had
them
to
both
bump him off. Yeah.
At the end of the London Marathon when you run past Buckingham Palace,
He was giving a side eye.
he went in there for a quick Roger. Still got the record.
Yeah, that's why he came first.
And then the Roars.
He had something insensitive at the end.
Can't be having this.
Yeah,
a bit of posh totty at the finish.
Yeah, it's fucking hard to come first. That's okay. Yeah.
So which one is it? Kelvin Kiptum that died?
Yeah, I think Kipchoge's still alive. I think.
But Kipchoge's slightly older, isn't he? Like Kiptum was the one that was supposed to like sweep up all the records. Basically, wasn't he? So
He's like the younger one. He was like an anomaly as well. He's putting in like 30-40% more miles than everyone else in the endurance sphere. So everyone was like, he's gonna be class, but he's gonna be really short lived.
Why is he still knocking about in Kenya?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That wouldn't have happened if you lived in like London.
Bubble wrap
mate.
yourself, bro.
Trust, like,
you're fucking a generational talent.
Mate, he's got a shitload of cash now.
Yeah,
he's cash rich. Well, I get like the training benefits of being in Kenya because of the elevation and stuff, but you can mimic that elsewhere.
They're very like
with places with a proper highway code.
Yeah, well, they're very like I feel like very kind of family orientated. Those kind of people when you grow up in that part of the world. So I think they like to spend time near where the family is. I think that's kind of more the idea rather than training benefit. I don't know, maybe not, but yeah. So that's a shame. 'Cause he was gonna fucking smash everyone by the looks of the trajectory he's on.
And now we'll fucking never know. And now I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah,
which I didn't want to have to.
I have to draft Ed in. So
didn't want to have to do it, but like no one else is.
Yeah. So look out for a sub 1 hour half marathon this weekend. And it's mad they actually do sub 1 hour half marathon.
Yeah, that's stinking. Mine won't be. Mine will be double that. Right, training tips. So I'm going to break it down into training tips, nutrition tips, and recovery tips.
Okay.
We'll try and pick 3 out from each.
Okay.
I've got 3 insurance policies, but I'll let you pick the first one. What's your
training tip for endurance stuff?
For training for an endurance event, we go holistic here because if people want specific kind of like individual race strategies and stuff, they can go to the relevant episode.
Okay.
So like we've done a marathon episode, we've done like an obstacle course race episode, we've done a high rocks episode. So just think big picture.
Okay, get clear on your target. So whatever the race is, you should have an idea as to what you want to achieve at the race. So if you want to do 50-minute fucking 10k or hour 45 half marathon, whatever, if you have like a realistic target, then you can reverse engineer that and get to grips with the training you need. If you're looking at, say, you're going, okay, well, I'm going to run a marathon. I've never run a marathon before, very beginner. I just want to finish it. Then your training looks very different than someone going, I want to run a 3-hour marathon. So you have to figure out which one of those you are, because if you just want to finish, you can do that by just doing slow, long, easy runs.
Yeah.
And building up your mileage, and then you're good to go. If you're wanting to run a pace, you have to do faster stuff, you have to do tempo workouts, you have to do longer workouts, all that sort of stuff. So I would say idea goal and then reverse it back from that.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. The more concrete you can be in that initial kind of end goal, the easier it is to then, as you said, reverse engineer the training.
Yeah.
And you can be really specific with it because you can work off like specific paces,
100%,
distances that you need to be covering per week, mileage wise, time on feet. Whereas, like you said, if you just kind of like got this kind of amorphous, I want to run a marathon.
Yeah, you don't really have any idea as to what that looks like.
Because you can just go out every Sunday and do like 4 hours plodding. You probably get there eventually.
Yeah,
mean?
Exactly. Well, if you are just looking to finish, you can do that very easily by doing 3 runs a week, 4 runs a week maybe, by like just literally going at zone 2 pace.
Just accumulating
volume.
Volume.
Yeah, whereas if you want to run sub 3, you're going to have to fucking dial it in and be like, kind of run 650 then whatever. So you're going to have to get used to a pace. And the same is true for any distance really. If you just want to finish your first 10k, then it probably doesn't matter that you're doing tempo workouts, interval workouts, whatever. If you want to get sub 40 minutes in the 10k, you're probably going to have to be a little bit more specific.
So the second part to that puzzle then is if you've now got a concrete goal, you need to reverse engineer it and follow a progressive program.
Yeah. So is that your second one?
Well, it is now. So we can do like a 3-part. It's nice chronological then. That so you've got the goal.
So you got the goal. Now you've reverse engineered it into the program you need, and that needs to be progressive. So you also need to look at a timeline. I think is the next thing. So your goal might be 16 weeks away. Cool. Okay, I've got a 16-week program to follow, and then you start that whenever you start it, and that has to progress through and peak at the right moment. Whereas if you don't know the timeline, you just like pluck it out of the air, and you're just looking to train, and then go, oh, I'm gonna do one next week. It's not ideal that because you haven't peaked in the right direction. So if you're looking to do one in 3 months' time, you know that okay, you've got to use this 12 weeks to build.
Yeah, time is your friend with endurance events. A lot of common pitfall people fall into is they bite off more than they can chew too quickly, and then that's where kind of like overtraining, overuse injury comes in.
Well, it's like cramming for an exam, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't work with like marathon training.
It doesn't work with any sort of fitness, but least of all endurance stuff because it just takes time. There's no substitute in
for
endurance. Reps. Well, yeah, for volume.
It's like Instagram sound,
yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, for like time on feet and volume and that kind of miles in the legs. Unfortunately, there's no amount of 1K repeats you can do to get you closer to a marathon. Like you have to do the 2.5 hour runs, the 3 hour runs, whatever. So it's one of those things you have to just make sure you're progressing in the right direction, but you've also got the time to do that.
Yes. So, clear concrete goal, establish a timeline, get yourself a progressive plan. If we get into kind of like the minutiae now of kind of actually executing the plan, specifically around, I don't know, like long runs, how can we make that more bearable for people? Because people always hate long runs. I like them. They're my favourite of the run type.
Yeah, okay. So I think I would say it depends on how long we're talking about, because it would get past a certain point and I'd be like, fucking, this is no longer my favourite run of the week. Well,
any really. So like just a long run for any programme can be made more bearable if you just get the basics right, I think.
Yeah, so, make sure, we'll talk about this in a minute, but fuel and hydration is the low-hanging fruit. Make sure that your the route is planned up to a point, so there's no kind of stress there. And I'd say try and make the route as interesting as possible. Like, don't just confine yourself to running fucking 30k around the square. Like that's going to be so fucking terrible.
Yeah, that comes back to what you're saying about dig out on your actual planning of the route a bit, because it will pay dividends when you're actually doing it.
Yeah. 100%.
So if it's like a last minute cuff thing and you're just like, right, I'll just do laps of my estate, that's going to be a very long, like 90-minute run compared to kind of like a scenic canal route. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I quite like sometimes doing out and back stuff, but for a longer run, I'd much rather do a loop. So figure out which one of those people you are. You might want to know exactly that, okay, I get to 5k and I just turn around, I'm done with 10. Some people like that. Some people like the fact that you can go round in a loop and just about finish.
I'm a looper, definitely.
Yeah,
I don't like
loop, yeah.
I don't like covering the same territory.
No, I much prefer a loop. I think it works better. In some respects, I can deal with, like, if it's a shorter run, like say like a 14k, 7 out, 7 back works okay, because I can break it down in my head then. Because I will always go, like, if I'm going 7 out, 7 back, I'll go 7.5 out, and then I can go 7 back and be finished sooner. So and then that's a bit of a win for me. I'm like a bit
of a carrot, yeah.
Yeah, so that works well for me, but again, not for longer runs. We actually did something which I think is quite a good idea. There's another thing I'll say in a minute, but we just ran out.
That was cool, actually. Yeah, we were on to something here.
Yeah.
We haven't really done it since, because it was
our longest run.
It was our final run before the marathon, wasn't it?
21 mile.
What should we call it? Should we call it the tactical evac run?
Yeah, the tacky vac.
the tacky vac. So what you do, right, is you basically just run, you plan a route, and you know where you're going to end. And it does what it says on the tin. You have a tactical evac waiting to extract you from that point.
So you just reach out to a friend and you're like, okay, we're going to be in this place at about this time. You figure it out. We need to pace and stuff. And then be like, can you pick us up? And then they'll pick you up. And the thing is, because there's no gap then between when you finish and when you're in a car warm, there's nothing better than that.
It's superb.
Yeah.
And also, you then have to drive the distance home that you've just run. So you get a massive sense of accomplishment. Because it's like, fucking hell, I've just run that.
And it took me half hour to drive it back. Yeah, that's very true. And the other thing I'd say, if you can, is when it gets long, when you're training for things like marathons, ultras, whatever, your long runs are going to become 25k, 30k, whatever, quite long. So break them down into races. So what I would do if your long runs on a Sunday, do, say, let's just as an example, pull a number out my arse, like 32k. If you just do a 12k in the morning, rock up and start a 10k race, and then finish a 10k on your own.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
That's 32k in the legs, but it won't feel like 32k because you broke it down in 3 different places.
So it's all a psychological game, long distance running, basically. Yeah. So the more clever you are in terms of your planning and your preparation beforehand to make it easier when you're actually out there, the better.
Yeah, and certainly nutritionally as well, you can definitely fuck it if you.
And there's so much low hanging fruit in terms of just fueling.
Yeah.
But half the enjoyment, I think, is just being adequately fueled, because the difference between doing a long run properly fueled and doing it under fueled is night and day.
Oh yeah.
Because everything's just completely unbearable if you've not got any fucking fuel in your tank.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, or from like immediately, almost like from 45 minutes in, you're fucked.
Because like a kind of like a nice steady like zone 2 effort that's sustained suddenly just turns into a drag.
Yeah, and you'll just run out of energy and you'll start to cramp up and all that. It's just an unenjoyable experience. Whereas that can be easily modified with some easy little changes.
Yeah. Well, should we move on to nutrition now then?
Yeah, I feel like let's go for that.
It seems like we've naturally ended up there.
It's a big part of it, I think.
The carb load.
Yeah.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah, so the carb load is something, again, if you're doing 10k, probably not worth it. If you're doing 21 or like a half marathon upwards, I would say probably ideal. We're doing a half on Sunday. Are you going to carb load for that?
Yes. Yeah, no, I am. It's weird though, isn't it? Because it's like you said, it's kind of all about like the intensity that you intend to run at. I think it's still worthwhile doing it for a half.
I think maybe not as
drawn out. That's what I mean. It won't be a proper carb load.
It won't be like a 4-day badger.
No, it won't be a 4-day badger. I'll probably like have a big tea tonight, so it's Thursday today, and then I'll do like a carb load Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, that's probably
that'll be sound, I think, because it's not going to be. I haven't really trained properly. It's not going to be a world beater of a run. Do you know what I mean? So, but I just need enough to get me through it, basically.
Well, yeah, and it's a long run. Like anything over kind of an hour, really, you still need some excess fuel. But I think for a proper carb load for a marathon, you're looking kind of 3 or 4 days before the race day, starting to eke up your carbs.
So what is it like? I've got here 5 to 10 grams of carbs per kg of body weight,
which is a fucking ton.
So again, I'd start at the lower end. So I'd start at 5.
Yeah,
and
if
then
you go 5,
I'd build yourself up through the week. Because if you go straight in at fucking 8 grams per kilo body weight, that's a lot of carbs, mate.
So if you're 80 kilos, 5 grams, that's 400 grams already.
That's probably slightly. If you're kind of training a lot anyway, that's probably slightly more.
Slightly more than you would have anyway.
Yeah. So that's doable.
Yeah, but as soon as you get towards 8 grams per,
it's like 600,
for an 80 kilo
700
male,
or something.
640 it is.
That's so much. Man.
So
that's just pasta. Like
that's
morning,
so much,
noon, and night.
Yeah, literally. So it's like a massive bowl of oats, massive bowl of pasta, massive bowl of pasta. You still haven't hit it. You still probably only like 350 there, realistically.
Yeah,
which is wild because you need 2 of them.
Because looking back now, I didn't properly carb load for the marathon because I just couldn't. I couldn't bear it.
Nah,
I should have.
I was telling you.
I should have practiced.
Yeah, you need to almost train your stomach.
I should have trained my stomach way out, just so I knew that I could do it. Because I honestly don't think I just couldn't handle that much food. Like, it's not that like psychologically I couldn't do it. Like physically, I just couldn't shovel any more in.
Yeah,
it's so
much, so dense as well. Like I would also say for your long runs in practice, use this as an opportunity to practice your carb load, because then you'll know what foods you like, what foods you don't like, what foods you kind of vibe with, what fucks you with your stomach, what also gives you energy, and some like everyone's different nutritionally. So try something on like an 18 miler, try something on a 20 miler, and do a couple of carb loads throughout your prep, because then when you get to race day, you're dialed in. You know exactly what foods you're eating. You can just emulate what you did on your 20 miler.
And the same goes for your intra-race fueling as well. So with like gels and caffeine and stuff, make sure you know where you stand.
Oh yeah.
Because you didn't.
We had a run in with that. Well, we did.
Well,
we did. We did test it. That's
what I mean.
Yeah. So we
had
we were having like gels anyway, which were fine. These gels were cool, whatever. And then we had a bright idea to
just bump a load of caffeine like mid-race.
Or like a mile out from the finish. Because we're like, okay, 26 miles in, we're going to be fucked. We're going to be knackered. If we can have a little bit of like cognitive surge, we'll be like in a good place. And then we can smash the last bit. What are we thinking, really? Stupid idea. And
so you know those like C4 shots that you get?
Which are like fucking 250 mgs in about, a shot glass.
They're just pure rocket fuel, basically.
Yeah.
So your stomach's already in bits because it's been like on the move for like God knows how many hours.
And you smash like 4 gels.
And you smash like 4+ gels. The last thing really your colon wants to tackle is 200 mgs of fucking rocket fuel caffeine.
Yeah, yours was fine because your stomach's a bit harder than mine. I was fucked, mate. We were about a mile away from home, mate. We shot this thing, and immediately I was like in trouble. I was in so much trouble. Did I run off from you?
Yeah, you had the runs on a run.
Yeah, I literally had to sprint home, and I finished the run about a mile and a half early because I was like, I just need to shit it. Like, it was fucking horrendous. That was the worst I've been, and I've been in a few situations where I've needed to shit while running. That was by far the worst. So don't do that.
Yes,
if you're gonna trial something like that, that's a bit of a wild idea. Then just do it not on race day.
Yeah,
imagine if that was on race day.
Yeah, if you learn anything from this, don't trial caffeine on race day.
We actually did that a week out, which worked eventually.
Yeah, because imagine if you'd done that at, like, say if you deployed that at like mile 24 of the marathon.
I was already fucking hanging as well.
You were already hanging. Like if you had to stop for a shit, you'd have fucking Well, you cramped up afterwards, really badly.
Yeah. I was cramping up during and after. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is the thing as well. Like, so it's so individual. We're gonna get to hydration next, or no? Okay, we'll leave that. We'll leave that for a minute then.
Well, no, we'll go on to it now. We're
okay.
Kind of, like, naturally going into.
Well, blocking into things. So, hydration's super individual as well. So, everyone sweats a different amount of sodium, which I found out during research for this. But like, if you both sweat, I don't know, fucking 500 milliliters or whatever, Ed might sweat 20% of that out of sodium. I might sweat 80% of that as sodium. So I need more electrolytes than Ed does, even though we've sweated exactly the same amount. So it's something like, it's a learning process to figure out how much of an electrolyte boost you need, because you never cramp.
No,
I don't think is why, because you never sweat any fucking electrolytes out, it would seem, or like certainly not noticeable amounts. I feel like I sweat fucking tons of sodium out because I cramp.
You must do.
I cramp all the time.
I don't think I've ever cramped.
No, exactly. So that's the thing. I cramp all the time. So I think my sodium output in terms of sweat is probably higher. So I need more electrolytes as an individual. And again, this is something you find out if you're training properly and actually taking notes of how you feel per like different run, different fueling strategies, different like hydration strategies. Because if you're someone like Ed who never cramps, then yes, have electrolytes, but don't worry about it as much. Don't have like
don't sweat
loads of them. Yeah, like that. Yeah, don't sweat it. And then, but if you're like me and you cramp every fucking 5 minutes, then I would probably double my dose that I had initially. I had like a full element stick. I'd maybe had. I probably would have had one, but I had something mid race as well.
Yeah,
but I didn't have anything.
You probably could have. You can get electrolyte gel, surely.
Yeah,
you get every kind of gel now.
I think you'll just have like a little squeezy bottle though, and
one of those Solomon running vests. My old nemesis.
Also, so I did Penny fan dance fairly recently in December, and I also neglected fueling on this. This was horrendous, by the way. So never do this. So
there's a lot of that on this podcast, isn't there? Like fucking do as we say.
Yeah, exactly. Not as we do. Yeah, well, we're there as like guinea pigs, tell you what not to do. So you get the call up 2 days before to do the fan dance, which is a famous Special Forces test. Obviously going to be fairly difficult. You decide on the night before of that, to not really eat too much, apart from the Mackies. So I had 2 Mackies actually the day before. I trained 3 times. So I did a run, a jiu-jitsu session, and a weight session. I then went in the sauna for about 45 minutes. So think about sweat, right? So obviously I've trained a shitload, haven't really eaten much, had a Mackies, which dehydrates you more, and then went in the sauna, which obviously dehydrates you even more. And then I tried to like backfill stuff after that, but you're so far of a deficit. Anyway, the fan dance works as you go over the fan and back the way. So it's kind of like a 4-hour do. First 2 hours are feeling good. I'm like, this is sweet. And again, lured myself into this false sense of security. I don't need too much water. I feel okay, whatever. But then it just hit me. And on the way back, because that's when it all starts to go real uphill and real steep, I started to get those flutters. Eddie doesn't know what I'm talking about here. If you ever had cramp, flutters of cramp, I was like, oh, fuck, it's coming. In my hamstring, I was like, okay, it's not going to be fun, because we still had like the full half of it left. And then, sure enough, got to it's called Jacob's Ladder, which is literally, if you're not watching the video, it's like fucking, it's like a 25% incline or something mental. It's basically vertical, and I couldn't bend my legs. I was moving from the hip and just trying to like swing,
hip hinging up a mountain.
I was just trying to swing my leg like it was one big cast, and so that's not a position you want to end up in. So even if you feel good, the lesson from that, even if you feel good, the initial part of a race, make sure you're fueling for your future self, because it's going to thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't. So there are specific timings when you should take gels, but I think that's definitely a good point to emphasise. Like, don't just take a gel when you're hanging out, because that's too late then.
Far too late.
Be preemptive with it and be like, I'll take it now because I'll be lagging in like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, and talking about like
stay ahead of the curve, basically.
100%. And talking about hydration, I mean, even if feeling thirsty means you're 1% dehydrated. 1% dehydrated doesn't sound that much, but it's a lot. And so if just feeling thirsty is that, then don't wait till you feel thirsty and you're a bit hanging out, because then you're probably 3% dehydrated and you're fucked. So the cramps are already going to be setting in, and like you say, it's too late then. The things you're intaking need time to reach the relevant muscles and the relevant things we need to fuel the working muscles. So if you're having it and expecting it to kick in instantly, it's going to be fucking not a good time.
Yeah, and then in terms of kind of like pre-race breakfast, if you can, anywhere between our mate again, friend of the podcast, belling you live on air,
belly me up,
mate Billy Knowles, not his real name.
Done that 3 times. It's fucking hit.
Yeah, so pre-race breakfast, anywhere between like 100 to 200 grams of like simple carbs, basically. I think.
Yeah, and again, depending on the size of the individual.
Yeah, that's why I gave a range.
Yeah,
because like even 100. Because the thing is as well, so if it's like your actual race day, you're going to be pretty apprehensive. So as much as you'd probably like to fuel, you're probably not going to have a stomach for it.
Well, that's why you need to choose carbs that are line like a decent for your gut, I guess.
Yeah, and this is good because this means you can be naughty a bit.
True. Very
Get some
true.
squares bars down you or something. You know what I mean?
Well,
cake and custard.
Don't do that. But it does mean you can have like Biscoff spread and shit like that, which is like palatable. Sorry, I'm just gonna tell the obvious.
Billy Knowles. Fucking hell, Tim's get some respect
for being on it. I know. I was on a call before. He bent me twice.
He won't come on the podcast, but he wants to fucking bother us while we try and record.
Every time. He did it last time, didn't he? And yeah, I think if you're someone who struggles to get calories in, like I do, I mean, if I was stuck there with a big fucking massive bowl of oats with nothing in it, oats and blueberries trying to be really, really good, I would fucking struggle to get that down. And I would struggle to get it down in a normal morning. So on a morning when I'm nervous, it's exponentially worse.
Yeah, I want to experiment with this, I think, because I normally just do oats, and that, like, even by my standards, they're quite hard to fucking palate the morning before a race. So I'm going to try something different.
What
I think on Sunday. Week? Not sure. To be honest, I've not got that far.
Quite like...
I don't like bagels.
You don't like bagels, no. But I quite... This is my kind of go-to, is a cinnamon raisin bagel, peanut butter with a banana on it. That gets you about 90 grams of carbs-ish. And you can do honey as well to up it if you want as well. And that's decent if you have that a couple hours, like an hour before you step off, really. I'll have that this week, I think.
I'm going to troll through the internet for some inspiration, I think. That remains to be seen.
Yeah.
If I'm creaming and you see it on Instagram, then you know it's not worked.
Should we cover caffeine?
Yeah, we cover caffeine. What are we saying, caffeine-wise?
So I was, just because I saw that, I thought reminded me.
So
you're
like making a monster.
Yeah. So caffeine's interesting because before you lift weights, it's hoofing. Like caffeine's good to go as soon as you want to like deadlift or whatever. I just don't think it's that efficacious taking it before running or certainly a longer distance thing. Your heart rate is going to be elevated.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's going to be elevated at the start, which means you're already starting at a fucking higher level, which just means you're going to fatigue quicker.
I actually think it can be detrimental depending on how sensitive you are to caffeine. Because building on that point that you've just made there about kind of elevated heart rate, I think also the start line of a race, the fucking adrenaline's pumping anyway.
You don't need that.
You don't need the extra impetus because then you'll just send it. and then you're fucked.
Yeah,
Like if you send the start of like a marathon and you just abandon your pace, like we did, like I did, then you are fucked.
Yeah, and you're staring down the barrel of 3 hours of just fucking miserable.
And again, it's like it feels great at the time, but like at mile 20,
yeah, it don't feel so good.
It really doesn't feel so good.
Let me tell you, it don't feel good. I didn't actually go away real hot. I mean, the middle probably portion of like mile 8 to like 18 maybe, I was probably going a little too quick, and then it started to set in, and that's probably a function of just going maybe 5 seconds a mile too quick, which is all it takes. All it takes. If anyone's ever rode before, I always use this in my head as like a little frame, because it's difficult to know the difference between, for example, running a 8-minute mile and a 7:50-minute mile, because it's hard to like lock into that pace. It's difficult to figure out what's the difference in sort of felt effort here. If you've ever rode before, right, and you think the difference between a 155 per 500 and a 145 per 500, there's a fucking huge difference over like a minute. And so if you take that into running, just a little 10-second drop in your pace can make a huge difference in your felt sense of like fatigue.
Yes,
over the long run.
The numbers seem pretty trivial because they're so kind of like close together. But if you actually break it down,
it compounds.
Massive,
yeah. Even if it's like,
and the faster you get, the more pronounced it is.
Yeah, 100%. Even if it's like a couple of % less fatigued every kilometre, over 40 kilometres, that compounds and makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Any more on fueling? Any more tips?
No, I think just don't use it as a massive. Like we said, like, obviously, don't be incredibly disciplined with it and just having fucking oats and that's it. But at the same time, don't use it as an excuse to be a dick. It still needs to be carbs that are going to fucking serve you. Certainly in the carb loading phase, 4 days out, you can't just be smashing loads of cookies, because that's going to be out of your system way before you need it to be.
Yeah, you got to strike that middle ground, haven't you? Really?
Yeah, it needs to be starchy, decent whole carbs. Really, you can't look at like donuts and all that sort of shit, because that just won't serve you.
No. Also, a good little hack if you are kind of like a bit bereft,
food
averse, or you're bored of you like doing your own carb load, try and go out for scran.
Oh yeah,
that's a good way to sneak in carbs, because like food that you eat out is always going to be more calorific than food that you prepare at home, and more often than not, unless you're like a Michelin-starred chef, it's going to taste better as well. It's just going to be more palatable.
Yeah, so I mean, Nando's was a massive hack for us.
Yeah, so Nando's is such a good hack, because again, I think it strikes that balance perfectly, whereby yes, it's not amazing nutrition in terms of like creamy mash or like fucking peri chips or whatever, or fucking spicy rice, but it's not toilet either.
It's pretty good.
There's some value in it. Like,
yeah, it's pretty good nutrition. It's not too bad, is it? And
it's
like
carb
you say,
dense.
It can be if you order the right things. Very
exactly.
Carb
So
dense.
if you have garlic bread as well,
and starters and all that sort
exactly.
of stuff.
Fill your boots, mate. Get yourself to Nando's. Still waiting for my black card. Fuming about that.
Yeah, trust. It's fucking
mate, the amount of fucking
podcast black card.
I chew your ear off about Nando's. I
Yeah,
fucking love
do.
it, don't I?
Love it.
Where's my Nando's discount? When are you going to sponsor me?
Yeah, I don't know. I like Nando's like anyone, but I wouldn't say it's like.
You got a penchant for the Orient, haven't you?
Yeah.
You love like all that shit.
It's just more interesting food, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
I do like Wagamama's, and I like it as well. It's like it's switched, isn't it? So like I prefer Nando's and you prefer kind of like Wagamama's and kind of like
Japanese
Pan
stuff
Asian cuisine.
Yeah, exactly. I find it more interesting.
Right. That's fueling done. I was going to say, if you want more specifics, go and watch the marathon episode.
Yeah.
We were a bit nausea in that one, I think.
Well, we just ran it.
Trying not to be too nausy in this, because I'm very wary that I am a personality now. So,
right.
Recovery tips. What we saying? Recovery.
So
sleep is king, isn't it?
Yeah. So basics are always going to be king. World class basics, as Ollie Marchand likes to say. I'm gonna steal that. I am gonna use that frequently as well.
When's he gonna fucking sponsor me as well?
I know. By the way,
does he need a sack on his team?
No. I'm gonna ask you this on air, because I haven't asked you. Do you keep getting delivered March on Way or not?
No.
I keep getting it through the door.
What do you mean?
I think I'm paying for it. I need to check. Though.
Have you subscribed to it?
I probably have. I
know.
Yeah.
Because if not, and if you're just sending you away, then I definitely wouldn't air it. You know what I mean?
Nah,
keep that to yourself.
It's not that. I think I think I have just accidentally subscribed.
You can do that on Amazon, you know, because like if you buy like protein on Amazon, you can either do like a one-time purchase or subscribe. And the default is subscribe. You have to change it. But I don't remember clocking that on the March on website.
That's what I don't think it was. Because also my first order was like more than just whey. It was like carb stuff or something as well.
And now
I'm just getting whey.
That's weird.
Isn't it? I had it twice now. In 2 months in a row. It's got to be subscription, hasn't it?
You need to do some digging on that.
I'll check. Anyway,
it is good though. If you're thinking about whey, I do like the March on whey.
It is very,
it's very
good.
tasty.
I need to start using my blender more because when I shake it in one of them, I cannot get rid of the lumps, mate.
So
doesn't matter what I use.
Have you got the official March on shaker?
I haven't. No, I'm not absolutely not. But I need one of those little balls inside. Don't I? Yeah.
I'm fuming. I need a ball for that. You didn't come with one.
Did it not?
Oliver, if you're listening,
well, you definitely not.
Put some balls in your shaker cups, please.
Yeah, I wonder why they don't do that. Rattle, maybe. Anyway, moving swiftly on. What were we saying? Recovery.
Yeah, recovery.
Yeah, so world-class basics. That's why we got onto it, isn't it? A lot of people will lean on massage or massage guns.
They're bollocks, aren't they?
Well, I mean, they work, but fucking hell, they don't work that well. They work if you've got the other things in place as well. If you're sleeping well and you've got your fueling back in and you hydrated yourself. If you're getting 4 hours of sleep, not drinking more than a litre of water, and you're eating an ultra-processed diet, then just rubbing yourself a few times ain't going to fucking do anything.
Caning yourself with a fucking Theragun and some canola oil isn't going to do shit.
Well, despite if it says it's fucking, come from the gods and it's going to cure cancer, it's probably not going to do that much for you. Sleeping 8 hours, and I'm saying this as someone who slept a total of about 5 hours this morning.
Again, do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah. So it's how long was it? 5 hours 43. Fantastic. So sleep 7 to 9 hours, longer if you're a female, and certainly longer if you've just done a race. 3 to 4 litres of water, depending on how big you are, and obviously loads of electrolytes, and then just good food.
Yeah,
those are the massive basics, aren't they?
Square the. I know.
Basics.
I know we shit on massage guns, but like if you have got that squared away, then they are quite good if you've got like just to ease your calf off before you do a long run or something.
Yeah, blood flow.
But they do make a difference, I think.
Yeah, that's what massage is as well.
But you can't let it do all the heavy lifting because you're going to come unstuck, basically.
Yeah.
And mobility as well, actually. I've realised this as I've started to get older. Yeah. I keep getting injured.
Old bastard.
Because I neglected my mobility for years. It's come to bite me on the arse now.
Yeah, I think it's actually a little bit of a lucky thing that I Olympic lift for a little bit. So it forces me into doing a bit of mobility because otherwise I can't do it. And so I don't do any dedicated mobility, but if I'm lifting, I have to do a little bit of a flow beforehand. So that helps, I think. Because I don't do anything like separate to sessions, but I think just having to oh shit, I've got an overhead lift today or whatever.
Well, no, you always used to do a bit more mobility than me, probably brought on by the fact that you were like doing CrossFit and Olympic
That's
lifting.
What I mean, I think it is a little bit of a help.
What was that mobility app that you used to use? Go Wad,
Still got it. It's good. I don't use it as much as I should.
And then what's our mate called on YouTube? The Bodyweight Warrior.
Bodyweight Warrior.
He's
Gaz's
good.
Mate.
Tom Merrick, whatever
Gaz's
he's called.
Mate.
He's like some weird tantric sex god he is. Doing all kinds of mental yoga shit in his garden.
Is he good? Have you checked him out?
Yeah, I actually follow some of his routines. They are good.
Yeah. I mean, mobility is huge actually, and it is something that people massively neglect. And if you neglect it over a long enough time horizon, it will just continue to fuck you up because you get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and
then it goes pop.
Well, yeah, and things just get pulled slightly out of position, and then when you put fucking 3,000 miles on that slightly out of position knee, that's when you get an injury. So it's the most unsexy and unfucking exciting thing to do, but you have to.
Man, that's like everything that makes you a good endurance athlete, though. It's
the little 1%.
It's unsexy and it's boring.
Yeah,
it's just about doing it though.
Layers of paint,
It's not all those all that Gucci track footage that you see people like Ollie March on doing. It's not about that.
He's had a lot of airtime in our last 2 episodes.
Yes.
He's great. He's obviously rent free. He's going to run the LA Marathon. What do you think his time is going to be? I think he's aiming for 4:30 k's. Which is like 720 miles. It's quick.
Well, he'll do like 3:15 or something, won't he? Because he's just a fucking absolute speed demon.
He's a G, isn't he? Yeah.
I know one thing. He's going to beat my fucking marathon PB at a canter.
Yeah.
And that's going to do
good,
my
isn't it?
mental health the world of good.
Yeah. Wait.
It goes back to what we were saying last week, though, about not fucking comparing yourself to other people.
True.
Because if I
And this
compared
is also
myself-
his like third marathon, fourth marathon, something.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that. So he's going to be a little bit better.
And he's also in the middle of training for an ultra.
Yeah, so his mileage is way up
So
there.
relatively, this isn't actually that far for him
Yeah, true.
in comparison to what he's going to be moving on to. So
You know the most mental thing about that? We're going to go on a tangent. But that 10k a day he did
yeah, in
in
January,
Jan. So he did 10k every single day for the whole of January. One of those days he did 50k,
he did.
and then he woke up the next day and did 10k.
And it also transpired. So like, I don't know if you've been following his stories recently, but he's had a problem with his foot.
I know.
I don't know what came of that, but it sounded like he had a stress fracture.
I think he does. He was cycling alongside his run club the other day.
Because he did Dublin Run
Yeah.
Club. They did like a march on Run
Yeah.
Club in Dublin, didn't they? And he had to cycle it.
But then he did a fucking like 6 mile lock-in run for when he got to LA.
He can't be told, lad. He'll run
There's
with
no
his
way.
fucking leg falling off.
One leg. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of our veneration of Ollie Marchon.
Any more recovery tips?
So aside from getting the basics right, I think
Saunering. We
Rest.
dabbled with that.
rest is another thing.
Time off feet.
Because it's a massive tax on your body. This whatever you're going to do really, but certainly if you're going hard on like a 10k, it's still the body's going for a lot. So having at least a couple of days that next week where you don't push the envelope, you take it like RPE 2 or whatever for your gym sessions. You just go through the motions a little bit. Maybe you just do a little bit of a walk or whatever, but just get back feeling like you're at baseline again. For a marathon, it takes a lot longer. Your body's still recovering for quite a long time after that. It's 42 kilometres. It's a fucking long way.
Mate, I didn't leave enough time to recover after the marathon, and again, it fucked me. So don't fall into the trap of like go straight back into like lifting like 3 days later.
Yeah.
'Cause I just fucked my hip for months. So.
Yeah, it's true. I'm very lucky with injuries, touch wood.
Yeah, you are. You've never felt the wrath of a long-term injury.
No, I mean, I have once in my back, and that was shit. But other than that, not really. I seem to be quite lucky. I don't know what it is. Actually, my knee was playing at one the other week.
It was.
It's better now.
I fucking hate that. I don't want to sound horrible here, but I will like a fucking a horrific break.
I've never broke anything.
No, neither have I actually.
Apart my ribs. Broke my ribs. That was shit.
Good chat. This. What have you broken? Right. Anything else? We dabbled in like what I would term kind of like
Wanking.
wanky wellness practices during our
Yes,
marathon
yeah.
prep in terms of kind of like cold therapy and
Saunas.
saunas. Again, they're kind of like the icing on the cake, aren't
yeah,
they? Really?
they're tip of the iceberg, aren't they? You don't really need them, but if you've got them, then they're nice.
That's what I mean.
Certainly on the day.
If you haven't nailed the sponge, don't dig out on the icing.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that. Good cake
Yeah, you
analogy.
can tweet that if you want. So I would say again, if you've got access to them, certainly on the day after like a long run, there's nothing really better. You really can tangibly feel the difference.
Especially like a good ice bath immediately post like a long run is amazing to like for reducing inflammation and stuff.
Yeah,
And just
definitely.
blood flow. Like, you know, when you get like heavy legs after a long run, like it just freshens you up.
Yeah, even if it's just like a feeling of that,
Yeah, even if it's just perceived.
because I
Like,
think it might be.
If it's just placebo, then what's wrong with that?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
If
If it
it
makes
works, it works, doesn't it? I think I would argue a hot tub feels better than a sauna, but I think sauna is probably like actually physiologically better.
Well, I think in the moment the hot tub feels better.
That's what I mean, yeah.
But I think afterwards, definitely the cold tub. And if you've got both, do both. I haven't got either, so that's good.
One day. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think, again, if you've got them, use them. Same as a Theragun or whatever. I just think if you're going to spend your money, spend it on proper food and good electrolytes. Because people will sooner spend, mad this, people sooner spend like 200 odd quid on a good Theragun than 40 quid on Element.
That is wild. That's like, yeah, for the price of it, that's the cheap Theraguns.
Yeah,
For the price of like a proper Theragun package, you could basically have Element delivered to your door for an entire year. One stick a day.
Could, yeah. Stick a day for a year.
And in my
You wouldn't
opinion,
need that.
the net return on that is going to be far greater with the Element than it is
Yeah,
than
and
it
you
is
wouldn't
the
need
Theragun.
you wouldn't even need a stick a day either, so you could fucking have that for ages.
That's what I mean. It could last you 2 years if you just had it once every other day.
Yeah. So that's how maths works.
Maths?
That's how maths works, guys. So I think recovery's it's fairly basic, but it's like everything, the unsexy basics.
I haven't really got anything else.
So in terms of training, obviously went through identifying a goal and making sure that you've got a decent timeline for that goal. So it might be typically for a marathon, it's 16 to 20 weeks, isn't it? Same with a half, really, depending on your goals again. Not 3 days notice like I've got this weekend. And then you need, I guess, a decent training program to align with that.
And the little tips and tricks to get you through that. It's good because you got strategic, tactical, operational there.
Nice. From Ed's time in the military. That. You broke it down.
And then you've got all the fueling shit, like what we said about carbs, hydration. Again, it's all just the basics. It's like if you take anything from this podcast, it's just do the basics well, consistently.
Yeah, we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't push the basics.
Well, yeah, because that's what it is. But people trying lots of certain individuals in the fitness space
try and overcomplicate
it, try and kind of gatekeep their knowledge.
Yeah, and also if you get shin splints, don't foam roll your shins because it's not going to work.
Or put canola oil on them.
Or oil them up. He literally said oil them up.
Or tell people to just keep running.
Bro literally said oil them up, man.
Yeah,
oil your shins.
I think that was for his own personal pleasure, to be honest.
Yeah, he does have a lot of Zoom calls with children, but that's neither way. That's good. Anyway, we haven't mentioned any names. So.
Yeah. Right, okay. Underrated, overrated. It's either underrated...
You've charmed me.
...or it's overrated.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
Yeah.
Have you got one?
I can think of one if you go first.
Right. Right, okay. My underrated, overrated is roast dinners.
Ooh. Okay, where do you sit?
We spoke about this at Christmas, I think, but from the perspective of a Christmas dinner.
Ah, true. Yeah.
I think any time other than kind of immediately around the festive period, roast dinners are overrated.
Oh, do you? Okay, interesting. Why?
I think they're quite bland.
I would disagree. I think if you've got a good roast dinner, it all depends on the actual quality of it. Because they can be very bland because the constituent ingredients can be done either really badly or really well.
But I think it's just... So, like, you're saying if you like Pan-Asian cuisine.
Yeah.
It's like an explosion of flavour in your mouth.
Oh,
isn't it?
yeah.
I think even a really well-done roast, in comparison to that, is pretty tepid. You know, like taste and flavour-wise.
It is, but it's all context-specific, isn't it? You think on a Sunday, it's just quite comforting, it's quite warm. You know, it's like that, like winter Sunday, like in England, with a nice roast. There's not a lot better than that, I don't think.
What do you make of people that continue to
eating roast?
What do you make of people that chain eat roast in the summer?
Yeah, I can't get on board with that.
That's stinking, innit?
Yeah.
You know when it's like 26 degrees and like people are still having Sunday roast with like gravy, all the trimmings.
That's mad, yeah.
That's
madness.
Is fucking broken behaviour. Like that is pure social conditioning.
I don't
Because if
get
you
that.
unpack that, you don't want that. In like 20 odd degrees,
No.
British summertime.
People want just like salad and like grilled chicken or whatever.
You want like Mediterranean diet,
cuisine.
don't you?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's horses for courses, literally. So I think in the like nice cold winter in like a British pub, it's fantastic.
Your romanticisation of the British roast dinner.
Yeah, well, it's great. And then and again, it has to be done well because it can be in a shit carvery shithole where it's going to be unenjoyable, to say the least.
I've got a real thing against roast at the minute. She needed to get that off my chest. I don't know
We tried
why.
to go for one last week, couldn't get in because it was his Mother's Day.
Oh, with the boys.
Yeah, rang up 2 places, not a chance.
I don't know what. I don't know whether it's because I was like belt fed them as a child potentially, but I don't remember. I haven't got overriding memories of being force fed like roast potatoes.
Okay.
I just think maybe my palate's diversified.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, again, like it's like I think it's so easy to get it wrong. If you do get it wrong, it's terrible. Roast potatoes are a great example. If they're done really well, they're amazing. If they're done a bit shit, then
you have
terrible.
the luxury of your dad being able to cook, though, don't you? So I grew up on my mother's roast dinners, which weren't terrible or bad, but they were. Yeah, I don't think she dug out as much as Ian does on his roast potatoes.
Yeah. Well, my dad's roast potatoes are very good, but also My family don't really eat roast, so it's a bit of a nicety when I go for one.
Your family don't eat.
Well, yes, true. Also, actually weighed myself this morning. Still maintain a bit of weight from thingy.
That's good. It's not fallen off yet.
Not yet. But my ex's parents, on the other hand, fucking dug out, mate, for roast. And
Of course they did. They dig out on everything.
So good, mate. So I'm ruined again for that.
I'm surprised you didn't fucking fly Heston Blumenthal in to cook
yeah,
it for
they
you.
may as well have done fucking quality of it. Like, again, like ingredient quality, like the actual effort that goes into it. You know, crosses in the sprouts, whatever it is.
That's good.
No, but it was yeah. So that I'm kind of ruined a little bit from that. I can't berate roast dinners just off the back of how many nice ones I've had.
Yeah, I think that's where our differences lie. I think
Difference
the fact that
in experience. Maybe.
yeah, because mine have always been just kind of fairly conventional, average. But you've had the pleasure of what I like to term a dugout.
An elite roast.
Yeah, an elite roast.
Yeah.
An SF roast.
An SF roast, yeah.
Whereas
Okay.
I've had the equivalent of a Raffridge roast.
Mine's going to be food related as well. So,
convenient that.
Yeah, mad that. Innit? It's almost like something jogged my memory. I hadn't had something prepared, but I did. Anyway, so it's difficult to describe. So underrated, overrated, breakfast food items.
Be more specific.
So, well, I mean, like, so breakfast food. It's a very strange thing we've got into in terms of a culture.
It's like partridge.
Do you think?
Do you mean like continental breakfast?
No, I mean like the fact that you have like cereals, toast, like the accepted food stuff for
That's
breakfast.
a continental breakfast, isn't it?
Is it?
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
So you've got like you got full English, like hot breakfast, and then you've got continental breakfast, which is like fruit, yogurt, cereals.
Yeah.
Kind of like grains,
Yeah,
yogurts,
yeah.
fruits, jams, breads.
So I'm talking about like continental stuff really, and then because I think there's a massive dichotomy there. So like the continental I would say is massively overrated because it's shit, and the other way like where you get like wanky Aussie breakfast like scrambled eggs and salmon, fantastic.
Right.
Do you know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
see what you mean. I think, yeah, I'm with you on this. I think it's not that I don't not rate kind of like cereal and yogurt and stuff, but I think it just gets samey. Every now and again, I am partial to, because I used to like fucking belt feed oats, didn't I? And I'm fed up with them now, which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
But like, I am always partial to like, you know, if you stop at like a hotel and it's got breakfast,
yeah,
I'll have like a bowl of cereal or something. You know, because like the odd bowl of Cocoa Pops here and there.
No, yeah, I mean,
It's like sound, but like that can't be the fucking
foundation of your.
Yeah, that can't be the foundation of it. You can't kickstart your day.
This is what I'm saying.
With the fucking honey monster.
So this is what I'm saying. So breakfast, for some reason, has become this thing where we have like toast, which is nutritionally basically redundant, or cereal, which again,
redundant.
Most of the time is redundant. What else is there like for general normal breakfast? That's it,
yogurt.
Yogurt is
fruit, granola,
maybe.
muesli.
I still think they're a bit shit. Like
they're under the umbrella of cereals.
What I'm saying is there's for some reason, I don't know what it is. When you wake up, you want different foods when you go for lunch. Why is that? It really makes me, because we before have like spoken off air about a certain individual who would cook, you know, mince meat at 10 a.m. But why doesn't everyone do that?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, from a nutrition standpoint, that's fantastic.
But it is gopping.
But why?
Having woken up and smelt mincemeat
But
frying at 10 a.m.
I would imagine
that
you can
is
retrain
stinking.
your palate to have that as a breakfast.
Well, certain individuals clearly have.
Well, that's what I mean. So
They may or may not put blueberries in it as well, which again is questionable.
That's mental. Can't get involved with that. But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to kickstart your day and if you're worried about your health markers or whatever, going and having fucking cereal isn't like, because it's also pushed as the most important meal of the day and all that. So everyone will double down having fucking shitload of cereal, and it's shit for you. There's zero protein in that breakfast, so you're going to be hungry in about an hour.
That's an X.
But yeah,
It's ultra processed.
It's processed X, and then if you were to wake up and have your fucking bowl of beef or whatever, it's a bit of an extreme example. Ryan Fisher calls it meat cereal, where he'll have just meat, and
He does.
yeah, he loves that bit of meat cereal, some dangly thing on. But I think that would probably set you up better for the day, certainly from a diet perspective.
But I think equally, if you go the opposite way, like full English can be overfacing, and I think like a bowl of mincemeat for people would be quite overfacing. But I like.
Yeah, I'm using that as like a.
I like what you were saying about the middle ground of kind of like poached eggs and salmon on toast. I think that's good.
Eggs Royale.
Because then you've still got like the continental element with like the breakfast, but then you've got the protein with the eggs and the salmon. It's better protein as well.
Yeah,
if it's properly sourced, it's properly policed.
It's ideal. That breakfast is, I think, goat.
Bit of hollandaise sauce.
Exactly. So
not too heavy, but not too light.
Right. The only thing is, it's effortful. That's the only thing.
It is. Well, that's
you
why
grab
you
a bowl of cereal, bang. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why.
If you need to nail a fucking good scrambled eggs, that takes some skill and some attention. First of all, a bit of time as well. I think, to be honest, it doesn't actually take that much time. When I've cooked it myself, not maybe scrambled eggs. Even scrambled eggs on toast probably takes you about 8 minutes. Doesn't it?
If that, really.
Bit of effort, but
depends how much you dig out on it, really, doesn't it?
And so, relative to that, 2 minutes of getting fucking cereal on board is probably better.
Well, that's why most people end up with fucking Terry the Tiger for breakfast, innit? Whatever his name is, that Frosty's hat.
I just think as well, cost is a thing, isn't it? Because if you're eating salmon every day, bro, you know how expensive fucking smoked salmon is. It's wild.
Very expensive if it's again properly policed.
Yeah, so smoked salmon, because it comes in them shit vacuum sealed packets as well.
It looks like there's more than there is.
Yeah, and you use one, and you're like, oh fuck, it's all gone now.
Yeah, I think the average kind of like smoked salmon pack, there's like 4 slices.
Yeah,
and they're like 25-gram slices.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's
fuck all, mate. So if you have that's 2 breakfasts and it's like what?
£6.
£6. That's good. Isn't
Mad
it?
That is mad. That's Austin prices, that as well.
Yeah.
But
again,
so
but you get what you pay for, because like properly sourced salmon, not like this industrially farmed shit.
Yeah,
is like the golden elixir, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and I guess there's an element of like pay now, pay later. Like you pay now with money, or you pay later with your health.
Yeah, fucking hell, we hard it in
deep,
this episode.
Deep.
Terry the Tiger to that.
So, well, I mean, I would imagine extrapolated out, compounding interest of shit breakfasts versus the compounding interest of good breakfasts probably makes you fucking more a healthier person over the time.
100%.
What's going to cost a fucking lot more?
What's the lesson of this story? Put more effort into your breakfast.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Right.
Sweet.
Reason to be cheerful.
Reasons to be cheerful.
Rugby.
England rugby are back, baby.
Yeah, that was insane.
1 game. Bosh. Basically won the World Cup.
Well, I mean, it's good as, isn't it?
But the thing is, you don't just pull a performance like that out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's been coming.
They've been working towards that under Steve Borthwick. That was just the first kind of demonstration of it actually working.
Yeah, that was fucking sensational, to be honest.
Because Ireland are a fucking good team.
The best team, aren't they? Top.
I mean, I don't think they are in rankings, but
I thought they are.
I don't think I'm not sure. No, South Africa are, because they
won
the World Cup.
Okay.
Mate, the ranking system in rugby is fucking fucked. Okay. Don't get into that. But like, basically, if you ask any kind of rugby fan, like Ireland over the past kind of like 4 or 5 years,
fucking class, yeah.
Maybe with the exception of South Africa, are the best team in the world. And England, mate.
Also, South Africa, we played in the World Cup and basically beat them.
And we got shit housed.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking... Oh, I won't say that. But yeah, mate, that game was sexy.
It was fantastic. I watched it. Where did you watch it here?
Yeah, on my own.
Oh, yeah, you said you were shouting lots of...
Again, I won't say that.
Yeah,
We won't say that.
Yeah. For legal reasons.
For legal reasons.
But I watched it in a pub and the atmosphere was electric. It was great. So, if you haven't watched it, watch the highlights because it's sensational. But basically, we were like, 2 points down or something. Little drop goal, bang.
So we played well. We were better teams throughout the entire... So for anyone, for the uninitiated, basically, this is in the Six Nations. England were expected to kind of be roundly beaten by Ireland. They pulled an amazing performance out their arse. Well, not out their arse, because it's been coming. But like,
they were down at half time.
They were down at half time despite being the much better team. They were losing for the vast majority of the second half.
Yeah.
But then stayed in the fight, and then kind of literally with the last kick of the game, scored a drop goal.
In 80, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in red.
Yeah. So
1 by 1.
1 by 1. So we were winning, I think at like 60 odd minutes or whatever, and then they scored a try which put them back ahead.
Yeah.
But by 2 points, and then you're always thinking, it could be.
But mate, we've got some good players. Like this new look back line that we're playing with.
Who's that
He's
geezer
sexy.
on the wing?
Which
The
one?
black guy.
Oh, Faya Wabosi.
He's
Mate,
fucking
they've
got
all-
shit off a shovel,
They've all
mate.
got wheels. This
It's
new
mad.
So like for years, right? Because I don't know, for whatever reason, we kind of went against the conventional attributes of a winger, like speed
Yeah.
and agility,
Yeah.
and we basically just went for size.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
because
okay.
England got this
It's a bit
weird.
weird, isn't it?
England got this weird thing where they just try and basically put the biggest blokes on the pitch and bully their way
Heaviest
to a win.
weight.
And there is something in that because if you can't win the physical battles in a rugby game, you are going to lose.
Yeah.
But you've got to balance that
Well, you have to
with,
balance
with,
that with
flair
speed.
and attacking ability at the same time.
Yeah.
So now this new back line is very sexy
Yeah.
because it's just wheels, and I can
So
get on board
quick,
with that.
Mate, that bloke, it's mental.
So I'm used to watching England, right? Like, on the off chance that the fucking backs do get it, you just like snail pace watching them across the screen,
Yeah.
and he'd gone.
Mate.
I'd lost track of him.
Yeah.
The fucking camera.
The camera
keep up
can't
with
even
him.
keep up with him. It's mad, mate. There was another one who...
Our mate Furbank as well.
Yes,
He's back in
yeah,
the fold.
yeah,
Few
yeah.
tries. Yeah, I
Yeah.
taught him everything he knows. I'll put the photo in now.
Yes, nice. Yeah, so that was sensational. Hopefully, long may it continue. When they play next?
France on Saturday. Super Saturday.
I was actually on Mike's podcast yesterday trying to get them on board with rugby. It wasn't working.
What?
They all hate it.
Oh, he's just
Bollocks, isn't it? All football.
yeah.
Chadders.
Because you not reach that certain level of enlightenment.
I
yet.
said that. I said, look, mate, I used to be the same.
Yeah.
But
I
you're...
love that. Set the moral high ground. Like, where you reach a certain level of maturity and you start to appreciate Test rugby.
yeah. But now I was trying to get Gaz and Mike on board. Not having it, mate. Not having it.
Mate, he's so good.
It's class.
But yeah, so it's the final week of the Six Nations this week. It will have already gone by the time
Yeah.
this comes out. And you know, if we're roundly trounced by the French, God forbid, then I stand corrected. But I think we'll pump them.
Do you reckon? France are good, no?
Now they've lost. So like Antoine, do you know about this? Antoine Dupont, their wizard. You know, their
Dupont.
scrum half, the captain.
Yeah.
He's fucked off to do sevens now. So he's left them up the Swanee,
Love that.
and now they're shit.
Good.
Which is great. I can get on board with that.
Good. I'm happy with that. When's this game?
Saturday. So they're all, because it's the final week. They're all Saturday. You know, for like
Happy
match
days.
fixing reasons. I think they don't. But yeah, Ireland are still pole to win,
Sounds good to me.
and
That's yeah.
England.
I don't know. France just have a weird shit thing of shit hours in us in football mainly, but you know,
They've got a lot of injuries as well. They've really struggled this
have they?
Six Nations. Yeah.
Well, good. So if we beat them, what then? We win.
So so mathematically, basically, it's still 95% going to Ireland. They've obviously not got the slam because we beat them. So like that.
No. Yeah, it's tiered, isn't it? Yeah, I get that.
So like they've not got the Grand Slam, which is when you beat everyone. But then obviously you can still win the competition. So like
They're probably going to win the competition.
points wise, they're probably going to win unless basically we absolutely spank France and Scotland like roundly beat Ireland. So we need like
Scotland are good.
So we need our result to go our way, but it's not in our
Yeah,
hands because
okay.
we need the Scottish to actually fucking pull their finger out.
Scotland are decent. Though. Could
As
happen.
history tells us, that's probably not going to happen.
Could happen. Okay. Anyway, we'll round it off. I think.
But yeah, on that momentous, I don't know, note.
What else?
On
would you
that
say?
bombshell, I don't know. I was going to say on that momentous bombshell, but I used that last week. So
Nice. Yeah. So hopefully we've won the Six Nations. By the time you watch
and if we
this.
haven't, then fuck the French.